Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be planting some plants that I have grown in the grow room. I have them acclimated. They've been outside for 2 nights and 2 full days now, so I know they're ready to go. So let's go. Alright, so right now I'm planting some Brussels sprouts here. How I do it is I have already amended the soil, so I just give it a quick loose here. I don't know where that root came from. But anyway, how I do it is I use an all-purpose fertilizer here. I just put a 1/4 cup where I'm going to be planting. I don't always use worm castings, but this year I'm going to use a little bit of worm casting. And I just give it in a little mix here. And buried in. Give it a little pat down. And move on to the next one. So while you're watching me plant here, how I do things, I guess I could probably tell you a little bit on how we grow our food here and do our garden. We are busy people. My wife and I work full-time jobs. We don't have the time to spend every day in the garden. We don't have the time to constantly do everything that a lot of people say you have to do. We grow a lot of food here with doing a lot of minimal stuff. Like, for instance, I have yet to use any type of pesticide or herbicide or anything in the garden. I usually let the plants do their thing, and when they say it's time to go, they say it's time to go. I know a lot of people think you need to over fertilize, constantly spray your plants with something, which that does help, but not only do we not have the time, we like to do other things. We like to go camping. We don't feel we have to devote every day to the garden. Now, if I was doing this for a living, like a lot of YouTubers that are lucky enough to do it for a living, I mean, I would love to do it for a living, but for most people, that's just not feasible. If you notice here, I do crowd the plants a little more than some people. I'm putting these Brussels sprouts probably 14 inches apart or so. But anyway, back to how we do things. I know a lot of people maybe don't want a garden, or maybe they're scared because they feel you need to spend all that time in the garden. Now, I'm not saying we don't spend any time. We definitely will weed when we can, among other things. But you don't have to be out here every day. So what I'm trying to say is our garden doesn't always look perfect. And your garden don't have to look perfect. Everyone's garden's different. Not everyone's, but a lot of people's weather's different. Their soil's different. There's a lot of factors. Just like right now, you see me pulling weeds. Garden's not always going to be perfect. But as long as you get plant from last year, as long as you get the growing medium right, watering, you can grow healthy plants and grow a lot of food. 3 weeks out of the month, I travel down to the cities. So I'm gone Tuesday through Thursday. So the weekends are really about the only time I can get out in the garden. And if you follow along, I will show you that don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work what we do. It's just not as much as a lot of people you see on YouTube or whatever. But yes, it still is a lot of work. But we don't devote our everyday life to it. So when it comes to watering, we use a sprinkler. I know that's not recommended, and it's not the best option, but that's what works for us. We'll water the garden here 2 or 3 times a week, depending on rain, and it has worked for us. We will after these plants get established, some a little bit bigger, I will put a mulch down. That helps with the type of watering we do. Keeps the soil from splashing up on the leaves and whatnot. But I guess, I might have just broke that one. We'll see. I guess what I'm trying to say is you don't have to do everything by what you see or read. You do what works for you. That also doesn't mean that someday it won't get to a point where I can do more in the garden. Retirement. But that's a ways away. Now this quarter cup of an all-purpose fertilizer here, I will do that. I will come back in about 2 months and give them another top dressing of it, but that's all you need. You don't need 3 cups of fertilizer in there. You don't need to come out here every 2 weeks and give them more fertilizer. Does it help? Probably. But this fertilizer I use here, it has both fast release and slow release components to it. So I have not had an issue with just fertilizing these plants twice a year. Now right here is some cabbages. Brussel sprouts were on the other side. Now I'm working in some cabbages. And the other thing that deters people away is the cost. It can be spendy, but that's all on how you want it to look. You can spend a lot of money building out your garden. Us here, we have just went with the approach of we'll add a little bit to the garden each year. We don't want to make it seem like we're putting way more money into it than we're getting out of it. So we started with this whole area here, 30 by 50, doing all in-ground gardening. Then we decided to start doing the raised bed method, as that seems to be the thing, and which is a lot easier to maintain. I'm only having to worry about weeding this versus the whole area. Now we have done the fabric stuff in the past, but eventually that just gets all mangled up. But we started with just a plan of building 2 of them a year, and then next year build 2 more. Well, I think we built our first 2 in I want to say 2019. So we built a couple that year. Well, we all know what happened the following year. So lumber prices went through the roof, as everybody knows. And I wasn't gonna spend the money, 3 times the amount of money, to build one raised bed as I did the year before just for a couple. So sometimes you have to adjust, sometimes plans change. So I think we went like 3 years, and then we decided just to build 4 more in the 1 year. And now we are going to metal raised beds, as now you can get them cheaper or just as cheap as building a treated one, and they will last hopefully forever. So there's this bed all planted out. We got peas in the middle, the Brussel sprouts and the cabbage done. Oh, broccoli, can't forget about the broccoli. All right, so now in this little area here, I'm gonna be doing some broccoli. This broccoli is the one I just happened to see at a nursery local in town here, and it's probably a hybrid. I don't know exactly what it is. It's called Destiny. It says it matures 48 to 89 days, but broccoli's a tough one here in the spring to grow, because the heat just comes so fast here. So it usually just, bolts and flowers before anything forms. Last year I did get some broccoli heads to form, but they just opened up too fast. And now, like I said in the past video, I do mostly grow heirloom varieties, so I mean that has a lot to do with it. I know there's a lot of hybrids and stuff that I could probably get better results from, and someday maybe I'll do some of that, like right now. And we'll see. Maybe these work out, and I'll try to find these seeds. And these plants are a little dried out right now, but got one more on the other side. So my original plan was not to put these broccoli plants here, but actually, no, it was my original plan, since I knew they wouldn't fit in that bed. I already got the Brussel sprouts and the cabbage packed in pretty good. I actually have 2 cabbage plants left that won't fit in there, so I'm going to go throw in a different bed here. I went through and planned out where I'm going to put everything just over the weekend. And speaking of that, happy Mother's Day to any mothers out there. And things are going to get a little crowded, but we'll make it work. And I was going somewhere with that. Oh, yes. If you are a new gardener and say you're going to start with 1 bed or 2 beds, plan it out. That helps tremendously. You save money by not buying too many plants. It's just much easier to plan it all out. So now, one of the most important parts now is getting them watered in. So what I got here is mixed up some water soluble fertilizer here, and I will water all the plants in with my cute little water pot here. Now these plants will be able to take up the NP and K from this fertilizer right away, and you don't need much, just a little bit right around the plant. Give them the little bit of nutrients they can take up right away. and then give them a good water down. Also, it is evening time here. You do not want to plant your plants out in the heat of the day. I usually always do it in the evening. That way it gives them all night to kind of get used to the new soil that they're in without the sun beating down on them all day. So if you're going to plant out your plants in the garden, do it in the evening. Or cloudy day. Watched how I plant some plants around here. Oh, not done yet. The herbs. So my wife picked up this lavender plant here. I ripped the sage plant out because that wasn't going to come back. So we're replacing that area with a little lavender here. I did grow some lavender in the indoor grow room as well, but it got the best of me. And then a cilantro, this weak little looking plant here that I grew inside. Herbs are one thing that are hit and miss with me. I have some inside doing great, some not so great. But with cilantro, it likes the cooler weather, so maybe we can get a little bit out of this plant before them 80, 90 degree days show up here. And this year, who knows when that could be. That could be any time. So now I'm done. I will water them in the same way. I'll go grab the little cute water jug there. Water these in good. And I wanted to do the onions tonight, but running out of daylight and them take a little longer. So I will try to get them done tomorrow. So thanks for coming along with me this evening. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.